everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast. My name is Samantha Genzer, and I'm going to be your show host for today. We have a very exciting show ahead of you guys. We are going to be covering the top 10 WNBA players, the top 10 goal scorers in Olympic history, Cognizant Founders Cup updates, and USC beating UCLA in the Beach Volleyball Championships. And make sure you stay till the end to hear the answer to the question, why are Paige Powers and Sydney Wells not going to the semifinals in CrossFit? Before we start, I would like to ask that you like and follow the show, and you can become a part of our show by tipping and donating. Your support means a lot to us. Also, we do get a number of questions that come from viewers during the show, so to ensure that your questions get read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link at gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. This puts your questions at the top of the list so that I see it, and also it really helps the show. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. Now, let's get started. I hope you enjoy today's content. Okay, we're going to be starting today's show by ranking the top 10 WNBA players. We have been paying a lot of attention to the rookies in the WNBA. They are all impressive, fantastic, and will obviously make a huge impact, but of course, we also need to discuss the top WNBA players who have been around for a little while. So we're going to rank the top 10 players in the WNBA, and when the season comes around, I recommend that y'all better keep your eye on them especially. But before I do begin my rankings, I wanted to put a disclaimer out here. I excluded 3 players in my rankings for certain reasons. So Candace Parker is excluded. She would be on the top 10, but I excluded her because she recently announced her retirement at the start of training camp. And then I also excluded Ella Dole-Donne, who is sitting out of the season, and Seto Sabally, who has a shoulder injury, so she won't be expected to play until after the Olympic break, supposedly. So we're really just ranking the top players who will be playing in the season and who have played at the current off-season games as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Ranked first should really not be much of a surprise. I ranked A'ja Wilson as first. I talked about her a couple of times, and I've only said good things about her because I have not once felt left down by her play. So A'ja Wilson, as you know, is from the Las Vegas Aces. The Aces are really the top team in the league, in my opinion, and also based on stats. And Wilson is one of the star players on the team. I mean, it really shouldn't come as a surprise that she's ranked first. Wilson was WNBA Defensive Player of the Year for the second season in a row. Also, she was the WNBA Finals MVP. She was apparently disappointed that she didn't win her third regular season MVP award, considering her stats across the board were even better than during her 2022 WNBP winning season. In fact, Wilson had career highs in scoring and rebounding, average as well as shooting percentage in 2023, but she channeled her MVP frustration into the playoffs, recording 23.8 points and 11.5 rebounds in 9 postseason games. At just 27 years old, Wilson is still right in the prime of her career. She also has an advantage being 6'4" and has this natural gift of athleticism. Throughout her career, Wilson has consistently averaged double figures in scoring and has been a formidable rebounder. For example, in the 2020 season, she averaged 20.5 points per game and 8.5 rebounds. Wilson's highest scoring game of the WNBA was when she scored 53 points in the 2023 season. But it's also important to highlight her college basketball highlights, since this was really when she started to get lots of attention. In 2017, she led the University of South Carolina to an NCAA national championship, and she ended up averaging 17.9 points and 8.7 rebounds per game, while also contributing significantly on defense with blocks and steals. Moving on to second, I ranked Breanna Steward from New York Liberty. Just like A'ja Wilson, Stewart stands as 6'4" and is a strong forward. She's known for her excellent shooting ability, capable of scoring from literally anywhere on the court. Steward's skill set includes strong post moves, a reliable mid-range shot, and the ability to hit 3 points like no others. And we all know how 3-point has really changed the game. It can really change the game like right over. She has consistently been one of the top scorers in the WNBA. For example, she averaged over 20 points per game in several seasons, which really showcased her ability to contribute heavily to her team's offense. Breanna Steward's highest scoring game in the WNBA was when she scored 45 points. This game was in May 2023, where she led the New York Liberty to win over the Indiana Fever. Steward has won the WNBA MVP award multiple times, and she has led her team to multiple WNBA championships. Her ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor makes her team significantly better, as she can really take over games offensively and lock down key opponents defensively. For third and fourth place, I had a difficult time deciding between Alyssa Thomas from the Connecticut Sun and Jonquel Jones from the New York Liberty. They're both strong players, and I will of course dive into that more, but for me, I feel like they both stick out equally in a way. But the main difference is Jonquel Jones had a foot injury, so it unfortunately did take her some time to get back to her normal self on the basketball court. And because of that, I decided to rank Alyssa Thomas as third and Jonquel Jones as fourth. Alyssa Thomas. Okay, last year she fell short on winning the WMVP, unfortunately. But still, her impact on the Suns and in the league was undeniable. Her 28 double-doubles and 6 triple-doubles in the regular season were league best, and she nearly finished the season as the first player to lead the WNBA in both assists and rebounds. Her ability to rebound, assist, and score makes her this triple threat player on the court. She's been selected to multiple WNBA All-Star games and has earned all WNBA team honors, really underscoring her status as one of the top players in the league. And then fourth, like I said, is Jonquel Jones. Her form in the second half of the regular season is exactly why the Liberty was so eager to trade for her in free agency and re-sign her for this past offseason. Jonathan Kobe called her, quote, arguably our best player just in terms of consistency over the course of the 2023 postseason, while Coach Sandy Rondello said last week that a healthy and thriving Jones has, quote, gone to another level so far. Next, at fifth, is Napheesa Collier from the Minnesota Lynx. Collier is known for her scoring ability, consistently posting high shooting percentages. In her rookie year in 2019, she averaged 13.1 points per game on 49% shooting from the field, which is so impressive for a newcomer. She has maintained a high level of scoring efficiency throughout her career, often shooting well from both the field and the three-point line. As a forward, Collier is also a strong rebounder. She has averaged close to 6.5 rebounds per game over her career. Collier was named the WNBA Rookie of the Year in 2019, which was a significant achievement, highlighting her immediate impact in the league. She's also been named to all WNBA teams, really affirming her status as one of the top players in the league. Lastly, I wanted to point out that Collier has had several standout games in both the regular season and playoffs. For example, she has scored over 30 points in multiple games, showcasing her ability to take over games when needed. Next, I rank Chelsea Gray from the Las Vegas Aces at sixth. Gray's scoring, rebounding, and assist averages were all career highs in 2023. While she couldn't play in the championship clinching Game 4 of the WNBA Finals after suffering a foot injury in Game 3, her leadership off the court really helped give the Aces confidence to close out the series. And I feel like that really shows not just what an amazing teammate she is, but what great mental strength that she has to be able to encourage her team when going through a rough time physically. Also, as we know, Gray is one of the top point guards in the WNBA, renowned for her court vision and passing skills. She consistently ranks among the league leaders in assists. For example, in the 2021 season, she averaged 5.9 assists per game. A key moment in her career was helping lead the Los Angeles Sparks to a WNBA championship in 2016. Her performance throughout the playoffs was instrumental in securing the title. At 7th, I ranked Jackie Young, also from the Las Vegas Aces. How Young went from making 22 three-pointers her first 3 WNBA season combined to 139 the past 2 years is one of the league's most impressive improvement stories, and it literally seems impossible. It's absolutely insane. She also was second in the league in three-point percentage last season, which was 44.9, while also hitting career highs in scoring average and overall field goal percentage, which was 52.3. She was on the All-WNBA second team and has become the Aces' top perimeter defender, in my opinion. Moving on to 8th, okay, I really apologize, guys, for choosing another Las Vegas Aces player, but I mean, these players really never fail to impress me, and I'm excited to do how the season starts. And also, the Aces are statistically the top team, so I feel like if you're gonna be on the top team, you're gonna be amazing and you're gonna be ranked in the top 10, so I feel like it's fair. But I ranked Kelsey Plum at 8th, who is from the Aces. Plum is one of the shorter players. She stands at 5'8", and I want to clarify that this isn't short compared to the average female height. But compared to some of the other Aces players, she is a bit shorter, compared to Asia Wilson, who's 6'4", she does seem a bit shorter. So her natural athleticism, her speed, really helps her as a guard. Plum is known for her scoring ability, particularly her three-point shooting. She is one of the quickest releases in the league and can score in a variety of ways, including drives, pull-ups, and spot-up shooting. In 2022 WNBA season, she averaged a career-high 20.2 points per game, which showcased her ability to be a leading scorer. Kelsey set a record for the most points in a single season in the WNBA by scoring 549 points in 2022, and she has had several career-high scoring games, including a career-high of 38 points in a single game. That same year, she actually was named the WNBA All-Star Game MVP. This Kelsey Plum never fails to impress me with her scoring abilities. For 9th and 10th, I had a bit of trouble, to be honest. It was easy for me to rank my top 3, but for some reason I was evaluated between 5 players for 9th and 10th, so I struggled a bit. But moving on, let me actually get into my final and 10th rankings. At 9th, I ended up ranking Skylar Diggins-Smith from the Seattle Storm. Before sitting out of her 2023 season following the birth of her second child, Diggins-Smith was perhaps the WNBA's best guard, earning all WNBA first-team honors for the Phoenix Mercury. Diggins-Smith is an outstanding scorer, known for her ability to drive to the basket and her mid-range and three-point shooting. She has multiple seasons averaging over 18 points per game, demonstrating her role as a primary offensive threat. In the 2021 WNBA season, she averaged 17.7 points per game and has had several seasons with similar scoring outputs. Finally, at 10th, I ranked Sabrina Ionescu from the New York Liberty. As she adjusted to a different role playing more off the ball alongside Courtney Vandersloot, Ionescu established herself as a top three-point shooter in 2023, converting on 44.8% of her attempts from the arc while averaging 7.9 tries per game. The two-time second-team All-WNBA selection also made headlines with a record 37 points in the three-point contest at WNBA All-Star Weekend, beating Steph Curry's record. And then she competed against the sharpshooter at WNBA All-Star Weekend in February and ended up losing to Steph Curry just by 3 points. So now that we covered who I ranked as top 10 in the WNBA, we're going to move on to another segment that is a bit similar in format. We're going to be transitioning to talking about the top 10 women's goal scorers in Olympic history. Before we do that, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys really soon.
feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you guys for returning. We just got done ranking the top 10 WNBA players, and we're now going to be moving on to the top 10 women's goal scorers in Olympic history. Before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys to like and follow the show. Also, you can become a part of our show by tipping and donating. Your support means a lot for us. Also, we do get a number of questions that come in from viewers during the show, so use the link gsmcpodcast.net to get your questions on the top so that I can see them. Also, we do really appreciate the support. Also, make sure you guys stay tuned for the end because we have an interesting segment coming up at the end where we're going to be talking about a controversy with penalties in the CrossFit quarterfinals, and we'll be answering the question, why are Paige Powers and Sydney Walls not going to the semifinals? Okay, now that we got that out of the way, we're going to be starting by talking about soccer. I feel like a lot of times women's soccer does not get much attention. In a way, in the Olympics, it kind of gets overlooked a lot. So I just wanted to bring out the top 10 goal scorers before the Olympics start, so we all know who the top goal scorers are. A lot of them are not a shocker. If you do keep updated with women's soccer, this will not be a shocker to you. Okay, so we are just gonna get started, and we're gonna go backwards with number 10 because I think y'all be impressed with number 1. At 10, we have a big tie with 6 goals. Ellen White from Great Britain, Lotta Schellen from Sweden, Alex Morgan from the US, and Barbara Banda from Zambia. Let's break down all these player legacies. Barbara Banda was Zambia's captain in 2020 Olympic Games, which was the first time her country actually played in a major tournament. She scored a hat trick against the Netherlands in their first game, but her side ended up losing 10-3, so she was the only one on her team that scored, and she scored all 3 goals, so super impressive. And then she scored another hat trick as Zambia drew 4-4 with China in their second game. Breanna currently plays for the Atlanta Pride in the National Women's Soccer League, so it's good to see that she is still playing soccer before the Olympics begin. Next, I really hope that everyone has heard of Alex Morgan. She is such an idol to so many young female soccer players out there. Obviously, she's known for amazing soccer skills as a striker or forward, whatever you want to call it. I personally call it a striker, but people call it different things. We're going to call her a striker. So she's an amazing striker, as we know. But I think what she's known for the most is her headbands, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's out of Pink Sports pre-wrap, if you guys can see in the picture. When you search her name, there's legit YouTube video tutorials that come up on how to do her signature headband. I think it's pretty funny. I don't know, just a random thought. But anyway, back to soccer. Alex Morgan played an influential role in the U.S.'s 4-3 win over Canada in the semifinals of the 2012 Olympics. She scored the winning goal in extra time, and the U.S. then went on to beat Japan 2-1 in the final. Then in 2016, Morgan scored a goal in the quarterfinals against Sweden, but the game ended up in a tie 1-1. The U.S. ended up losing that game because they lost during the penalties, which was afterwards. At the 2020 games, Morgan's side lost 1-0 to Canada in the semifinals. However, they still won bronze after beating Australia in the match for third place. Morgan is still technically on the U.S. international team and has a record of 123 goals in 223 games, which is absolutely insane. Right now, she is playing for the San Diego Wave in the National Women's Soccer League. Next, we have Lotta Schellin, who played in 4 Olympic Games for Sweden and scored 6 goals in the process. Her first competition was in 2004, where her side lost 1-0 to Germany in the bronze medal match. Her side was again beaten by Germany in the quarterfinals of the 2008 Olympics, and then in 2012, Sweden was again defeated in the quarterfinal stage, this time by France. Schellin finally got her hands on a medal in 2016 when she won silver, with her Sweden side losing to Germany once again in the final. The last person we're talking about with a total of 6 goals is Ellen White. Ellen White played in 2 Olympic Games for Great Britain and scored 6 goals, as I said. Her first tournament was in 2012, which her country actually was hosting. However, Great Britain ended up being eliminated in the quarterfinals by Canada. White's side made it to the quarterfinals again in the 2020 games. Despite White scoring a hat trick, Great Britain was edged out 4-3 by Australia. She retired from soccer after winning the European Championships with England in 2022, which is unfortunate because she was very fun to watch. Next, we have 7 goals, and we have a 3-way tie here, so, buckle your seatbelts. Stina Blackstenius from Sweden, Melissa Tancredi from Canada, and Sam Kerr from Australia are all tied at 7 goals. Stina Blackstenius has played in 2 Olympic Games for Sweden and won silver medals both times. Wow, that was like a lot of words starting with S at one point. That was really confusing. She won silver medals both times playing in both Olympic Games. In 2016, she scored in the final against Germany, but her side went on to lose 2-1. At the 2020 game, she scored in the gold medal match, but Sweden was defeated by Canada on penalties. She still plays for Sweden and Arsenal in the Women's Super League, though. And then Melissa Tancredi competed in 3 Olympic Games for Canada and won 2 bronze medals. Her first tournament was the 2008 Games, but her side was defeated in the end by the U.S. in the quarterfinals. In 2012, Canada was again defeated by the U.S., this time in the semifinals. However, they went on to beat France 1-0 in the bronze medal match. Tancredi helped Canada win another bronze medal in 2016, where they beat Brazil in the match for 3rd place. They had lost to Germany, however, in the semifinals. And then lastly, Sam Kerr has played in just 1 Olympic game so far, but scored 7 goals as Australia made it to the semifinals. Australia went out to Sweden in a match where Kerr had a goal that was ruled out. There was controversy surrounding that goal, which happens a lot in soccer, especially at high competition games with offsides. But other than that, Kerr then scored in the bronze medal match, but her side ended up losing 4-3 to the U.S. Moving on to 8 goals, we have Breanna from Brazil. Breanna won 2 silver medals with Brazil at the Olympics. In 2004, she scored in the final against the U.S., but her side went on to lose 2-1, unfortunately. Then in 2008, she was part of the side that was again defeated by the U.S. in the gold medal match. She played 68 times for Brazil and scored 42 goals. That's like insane. 68 times, like 68 games and 42 goals. That's crazy. Her club sides include Vasco da Gama, Washington Freedom, and the San Jose Cyber Rays. She is actually so fun to watch because she is so fast. It's insane how fast she is. It's insane. I wish I could show a video of her getting from across the field and back because she's so quick. Next, we have Abby Wambach on the U.S. team who has scored a total of 9 goals. Wambach competed in both the 2004 and 2012 Olympics and won gold medals in both of these. In the 2004 edition, she scored an amazing header in the 112th minute to give the U.S. a 2-1 win over Brazil. She missed out on playing at the 2008 Olympics, unfortunately, because of a broken leg. However, she was back to her best for the 2012 tournament, where she scored in every game except the final, where the U.S. defeated Japan 2-1. Next, we have a 3-way tie at 10 goals. Viviane Miedema from the Netherlands, her goals came in at just 4 matches at the 2020 Olympics. In Japan, Medema scored 4 goals against Zambia, and then in the quarterfinal against the U.S., she scored 2 goals. The game against the U.S. finished 2-2, but the Netherlands lost on penalties, with Medema's shot for the penalty being saved. And then Carly Lloyd also stands at a total of 10 goals as well. Carly Lloyd is one of the most successful players in U.S. soccer history. She scored the game-winning goals in the finals of both the 2008 and 2012 Olympics. In extra time in the 2008 final, Lloyd won the game 1-0 for the U.S. Then in 2012, she scored in a 2-1 win over Japan in the final. Lloyd also won bronze at the 2020 Olympics when she scored twice in a 4-3 win over Australia. Then we have Birgit Prinz from Germany with 10 goals as well. She won 3 bronze medals with Germany at the Olympics and is joint 4th in the goal scorers tally with 10 goals. Her side ended up losing to Norway in the semifinals of the tournament in 2000, but did defeat Brazil 2-0 in the final. In 2004, Germany lost to the U.S. in the semifinals, but they ended up claiming bronze after defeating Sweden 1-0 in the final. Prince made it a hat trick of bronze medals as they defeated Japan 2-0 in the match for 3rd place. They had been defeated 4-1 by Brazil in the semifinals, and Prince is now retired from soccer but continues to work on the sport since she is currently a sports psychologist. Christine Sinclair from Canada has a total of 12 goals. At the 2008 tournament, her Canadian side lost to the U.S. 2-1 in the quarterfinals. Sinclair got Canada's goal in this, and the U.S. was supposed to be Canada's nemesis at the 2012 games. Despite Sinclair scoring a hat trick, they did lose 4-3 to the U.S. Canada did go on to win bronze as they beat France in the match for 3rd place. Sinclair was also the top goal scorer at the games with 6 goals. In the semifinals of 2016 competition, Canada lost to Germany, but again won bronze after defeating Brazil. Sinclair scored the winning goal in that game as well. And then at the 2020 Olympics, Canada finally won goal as they defeated the U.S. in the semifinals before beating Sweden on penalties in the final. Sinclair has now retired after playing for so many years from international soccer with a record of 190 goals and 331 games. However, she does continue to start for the Portland Thorns, so she's still out there playing soccer, just not in the international level. Next, Marta from Brazil has a total of 13 goals. Marta is thought of as being one of the best female players of all time, and I completely agree with that. She has been Christiane's strike partner, and they both won silver medals in 2004 and 2008. And I also will cover Christiane from Brazil after this. Marta is the all-time top goal scorer for Brazil, having scored a total of 116 times in 175 games. Marta still plays club soccer with Orlando Pride of the NWSL, and she has previously represented teams including Rosengard, Santos, Vasco da Gama, and Los Angeles Sol. Lastly, Christiane from Brazil is at first place with a total of 14 goals. Christiane tops this list with 14 goals across 4 Olympics. However, she has never won the tournament but has 2 silver medals from 2004 and 2008 games. In 2004, Brazil's side lost in the final to the U.S. 2-1, and then in 2008, they were again defeated by the U.S. in the gold medal match, this time by the score of 1-0. So, now that we got through that, we're going to transition to talking about the Cognizant Founders Cup updates. Before we do so, we are going to be taking another short break, so I will see you guys really, really soon.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Hey guys, thank you guys for coming back. We just got done talking about the top 10 women goal scorers in Olympic history, and now we're transitioning to talking about the Connecticut Founders Cup updates, so we're talking all about golf. So we're going to focus on Madeline Sandstrom and Rose Shawn at the competition. I felt like this competition was especially interesting for both Shawn and Sandstrom, and I wanted to focus on them since they were so close at some times. And just for some background information, I'm going to let you guys know how both players have done before coming up to this competition. So I'm first gonna show you guys a little picture of them so we have some representation. So we have Rose Shawn on the left and then Madeline Sandstrom on the right. So Madeline Sandstrom and Rose Shawn both competed at the Arizona Championships from March 28th through the 31st, but they both were cut since they placed below the 65th competitor. And then next, Madeline Sandstrom and Rose Shawn both competed at the Chevron Championships from April 18th to the 21st. Sandstrom ended at a position of T30 with a score of even par. She tied with lots of people like Aki Iwai, Ali Ewan, Stephanie Meadow, Brittany Lincecum, Se-Young Kim, Yuka Sasso, Nareen and Marina Alex, and Austin Kim. Also at that competition, Shawn was cut, so clearly she did not do so well being below the 65th competitor. Also, Sandstrom competed at the JM Eagle LA Championships on April 25th to the 28th and finished with a score of -3. She finished in position T8 where she tied with Gabby Lopez, Showin Yin, Meo Sago, and Esther Hinsey-Lay. Rose Shawn finished with a score of even par and finished in position T32, tying with Christine Gilman, Isabella Fierro, Yili Minot, Jenny Shin, Paula Rito, and Se-Young Kim. Based on these three performances, Sandstrom and Shawn did not do too well at these two competitions. They both have always been known for lots of skill, but they were definitely not doing too well before this weekend's competition. They obviously have not been getting much media attention before this, and to be honest, I did not really notice their names before this weekend's competition as much with, Hannah Green's victories and everything else. So these two competitors have really been, slipping through the cracks. So I think it's definitely really impressive how they stood out at this weekend's competition. In a stunning display of skill and composure, 20-year-old Rose Shawn clinched her second LPGA Tour victory at the 2024 Connecticut Founders Cup, held in the Upper Montclair Country Club in New Jersey. This victory marks nearly a year since her impressive debut win as the professional at the 2023 Mizuho Americas Open. Shawn, who emerged victorious by 2 shots over Swedish golfer Madeline Sandstrom, showcased her exceptional ability to perform under pressure, securing the win with an outstanding series of birdies in her final 5 holes. Shawn's journey throughout the tournament was marked by consistent excellence and strategic gameplay. Entering the final round just 1 stroke behind Sandstrom, Shawn quickly leveled the playing field after Sandstrom bogeyed the first hole. The two golfers were neck and neck for much of the round, with Shawn eventually pulling ahead thanks to her clutch performance on the closing holes. She finished with a bogey-free 6 under 66 in the final round, setting a new 72-hole tournament scoring record at 24 under par. Reflecting on her victory, Shawn acknowledged the day's challenges and her mindset going into the final round, saying, "Honestly, today has been a roller coaster. I knew it was going to be a grind. I think coming out I had those expectations of today. I really had to find it in me to even play well, let alone win." Her determination and focus were evident as she executed flawless shots under immense pressure, culminating in a winning birdie putt on the 18th hole that she described as a moment where she was, quote, shaking over the putt but just thinking, okay, let's give it a chance, roll it. Shawn also said after the competition, I was able to grow so much throughout the journey in this past year. I don't know, it's crazy to come out here. I didn't have any expectation of having to win because I realized that it's all just noise, and I really just had to be able to work at it myself and try my best to put myself in positions like this. But no matter what happened this week, I would have been very satisfied, and it reignited my passion for the game once again. On the other side, Madeline Sandstrom, despite a strong start to the tournament and leading through various stages, could not maintain her momentum against Zhang's late surge. Sandstrom opened her tournament with an impressive rounds of 65 and 66 leading into the weekend. She managed to go bogey-free on moving day and took a slender lead into the final round. However, a critical bogey on the 16th hole on Sunday saw her hopes for a second LPGA Tour title just slip away, unfortunately, leaving her to finish at 22 under par. Expressing both pride in her performance and the sting of narrow defeat, Sandstrom commented, "I felt like I gave myself a lot of good chances today. I played some pretty good golf. It's kind of like everyone, you get nervous and want to hit good shots. I wasn't really pulling it off." Despite the disappointments, Hagstrom remained optimistic about her game, which really shows significant improvement according to recent stats and performance insights. Both players demonstrated why they're top contenders on the LPGA Tour now. Zhang's statistics were particularly impressive, leading the field in the most birdies, greens hit in regulation, and fewest number of putts throughout the week. These figures not only highlight her accuracy and putting skills, but also her ability to handle the pressures of leading a major tournament. As Sean looks ahead, she is set to defend her title at the upcoming Mizuho Americas Open, bringing full circle a year of professional growth and success. Her early achievements have not only solidified her status as a rising star on the tour, but also really reignited her passion for competing at the highest level of women's golf. In the world of professional golf, where every shot counts and the pressure can be overwhelming, I feel like Roshan and Madeline Sandstrom showed the perseverance and skill required to compete and succeed. Their performance at the 2024 Cognizant Founders Cup will surely be a talking point as they continue to build their careers and chase further victories on the LPGA Tour. Sandstrom reflected on her performance by saying, "I struck it out so nicely this week. I worked really hard for a long time. I putted incredibly. It's really high up there. That's probably why it hurts more. Nothing against Rose. She played incredible. I kind of wish I gave myself a few more chances at the end there. Didn't want it to end that way. This is probably the best golf I've played in years." Makes me kind of sad for her, but she did really good, and it's good for her that she has stayed optimistic. I also would like to point out that Sandstrom is 31 years old and her rookie year was in 2017. On the other hand, Sean is 20 years old and her rookie year was literally last year, 2023. I think it's pretty insane that she is so young and so talented and has beat so many people that are much older than her with much more experience, especially in the professional field. It really shows her natural talent, young motivation, and her superb skill sets. I'm looking forward to watching her many more years, and I feel that she has a great future ahead of her in her professional golf career. And then I also wanted to mention that Sean put an end to Nelly Korda's record-tying LPGA Tour winning streak. Reflecting on her performance, Korda said, "I think to get a streak like that in any sport in general is amazing with the amount of talent that I feel like every athlete has in their sport. Just an amazing feeling, and hopefully one day it'll sink in." So it's good that she still felt pretty good, but even though that her streak did end. So we're now going to move on to talking about beach volleyball with how USC beat UCLA in the championships. Before we do that, we are going to be taking a short break, so I will see you guys really, really soon.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. We just got done talking about the Cognizant Founders Cup updates, and we're now going to talk about USC beating UCLA in the championships. So transitioning to beach volleyball, I'm really excited to talk about this. For the second straight season, the UCLA women's beach volleyball team fell just short of winning another national championship, but lost to the rival USC. The Trojans defeated the Bruins 3-0 in the championship game. This is the second consecutive year in which the UCLA Bruins have been the runner-ups to USC, and the third time in the last 4 years. As painful as it is for the Bruins, since USC is their biggest rival, the USC Trojans have simply been more dominant. Since the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship Tournament began in 2016, USC has won 6 out of 8 years. UCLA has won the other 2 championships in 2018 and 2019, but have seemingly become the runner-up over the last 4 years, while USC achieved the 4-peat. USC beat UCLA 3-2 in the championship match last season. USC began its streak with a 3-1 win over UCLA for the 2021 title. The Trojans followed that with a 3-1 win over Florida State. The event wasn't held in 2020 because of COVID, and only Breanna Collier coached USC to its first 2 titles, a 3-0 sweep over Florida State in 2016 and a 3-2 victory over Pepperdine the following season. The Trojans ended up advancing to the final this season with a 3-0 victory over number 5th Cal Poly in the semifinals. The Bruins advanced to the title match with a 3-1 victory over number 11th LSU. This year's match was really a prime opportunity for UCLA to reclaim their status at the top of collegiate beach volleyball, particularly after finishing as runner-ups last year. Failing to capitalize on this chance can feel like a setback to the team's goals. As a highly ranked team in a program with a successful history, UCLA entered the tournament with substantial expectations. USC has had a phenomenal season, though, and that definitely should be noticed. They boasted a record of 37-5, and they were here to defend their title for the 4th consecutive year. They were very dominant all throughout their seasons. The Trojans are led by the dynamic duo of twin sisters Nicole and Audrey Norris, who have been nothing short of sensational, especially in crunch time. Not only does UCSC have the Norris twins, they also have some other standout players, obviously. One of USC's most standout abilities is their teamwork, and last year, graduate Maddie Chris and Madison White were named the American Volleyball Coaches Association National Pair of the Week. Chris and White collect the 10th all-time National Pair of the Week honor, won by a Trojan duo and Security School record 3rd award in 2024. Twin graduates Audrey Norris and Nicole Norris were chosen for this award 2 weeks ago, obviously. Earlier this spring, All-American seniors Megan Kraft and Delaney Maple were tabbed for the same honor. UCLA, not far behind, has had a solid season themselves with a record of 35-7. Despite UCLA's loss in the NCAA Beach Volleyball Championship, their season has been remarkably strong and commendable. Many of UCLA's athletes have shown significant growth this season. Players like senior Perry Brennan and graduate student Devin Newberry have been standout performers, demonstrating leadership and skill enhancement. Junior Natalie Miskowski and freshman Ensley Alden were notable as well, earning spots on the NCAA All-Tournament team due to their outstanding play. So now let's dive more into what happened at the championships. The first point of the championship was fiercely contested on court 2. USC's duo Madison White and Maddie Chris found themselves in a tough spot early on, dropping the first set 14-21 against UCLA's seasoned pair Perry Brennan and Devin Newberry. However, showcasing resilience, White and Chris fought back to claim the next 2 sets, 21-19 and 15-13, putting the first point on the board for USC. Over on court 4, the atmosphere was just as intense. USC's freshman Ashley Patter and graduate student Grace Seats faced a challenging start, losing the first set 24-26 to UCLA Jaden Wishmarch and Tessa Van Winkle. However, they ended up mirroring their teammates' comeback on court 2, rallying from behind to win 25-23 and then dominated the third set 15-8. This victory put USC up 2-0, which was a crucial lead in this championship duel from the start. All eyes then turned to Court 3, where the championship point was at stake here. The Norris twins, Audrey and Nicole, have been a cornerstone for USC, and they really were no different in their performance. Their match against UCLA's Jessie Smith and Kenzie Brower was a nail-biter, to be honest. After splitting the first 2 sets, the score on the decider was deadlocked at 9-9, and then it was up to Nicole Norris to step up, delivering a critical service ace, followed by a game-winning block, sealing the championship for USC with a 15-11 win in the third set. With that, USC captures their 4th consecutive NCAA title and 6th overall since the inception of the sport in 2016. What a remarkable achievement for head coach Dane Blannon and his squad really is all of this. I mentioned Ashley Patter in the beginning, and I just wanted to stop and say that I'm so incredibly impressed by her. She is literally a freshman at USC. She's already been so successful in beach volleyball, and she has a lot coming up for her in the future. Before being a collegiate athlete, Patter placed 2nd out of 96 people in the 2022 Team USA U19 World Championships. So she already has her name known, and she really is going to have a more impressive career coming up in USC beach volleyball. Obviously, I have to bring up the Norris twins again. The Norris twins are currently in their 5th season with USC. In 2023, Nicole Norris went 30-6 overall in the season, and she went 4-0 in the NCAA tournament with Audrey Norris. Audrey has such similar stats to Nicole, her twin sister, and I find that so crazy. They literally look so alike and play so similarly and are always dominating together, so it's pretty crazy. USC is really lucky to have not just one of them, but both of them, and I honestly think their 2 performances are a major reason why USC is able to get so far up and why they won the championships this year. The Norris twins and Ashley Patter both very much succeeded in other games, and they contributed a lot to the USC team sweeping 16th-seeded North Florida in the NCAA tournament round of 16 at Gulf Beach Place on Friday, May 3rd. On Court 3, the Norris twins held off Katie Camp and Iris Fletcher to gain USC's first point of the duel. This win extends Norris' streaks to 30-7 in the season, and then in Gulf Shores, the twins are now 10-1 and notched their 8th in a row with this match victory. At the number 4 position, freshman Ashley Patter and graduate Grace Seats defended Cameron Humphreys and Hayden Wooldridge in straight sets to put another point on the board for USC. And Patter and Seats improved to 10-1 as a pair and extend their win streak to 3. So clearly all 3 of these beach volleyball stars have really been dominating throughout the entire season, and they are a large part of why USC ended the season with such a huge victory. On Thursday, Delaney Maple and Megan Kraft were named the 2024 Trojan Year Diamond Award winners. This award recognizes the student athletes who brought the most fame and distinction to the university. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more awards coming up for the USA team and more honorary events for them. This one marks a significant time in history as USC now has 4 wins in a row, which is just absolutely so impressive. So we're now going to jump into our last segment on why Paige Powers and Sydney Wills are not going to the semifinals in CrossFit. Before we do that, we are again going to take a very, very short break, so I will see you guys really soon. Hey guys, welcome back. We just got done talking about USC beating UCLA in the beach volleyball championships, and we're now going to be answering the question, why are Paige Powers and Sydney Wills not going to the semifinals? So they apparently did not make it out of the 2024 CrossFit Games semifinals, and there's a lot to dive into on why this happened. In a recent video, I talked about the quarterfinals where we had a wide variety of athletes with very impressive scores, and 25% of the best scores from the Open, which is the first round of competition, make it out to the quarterfinals. Now, that's a lot of people considering the hundreds of people competing at the quarterfinals, so you just had to keep that in mind. From the quarterfinals, the top 40 women make it out to the next round, which is the semifinals. And there's a minimum number of competitors that make it out to each region. In Europe, at least top 5 women make it out. In Asia, at least the top 2 women make it out. In Oceania, at least the top 3 women make it out. North America East, at least the top 5. In North America West, at least the top 5 make it out also. In South America, at least the top 2. And lastly, in Africa, at least the very one first top women makes it out. So this makes the competition even more challenging. Like, for instance, let's say in the top 40, without considering the minimum number of competitors from each region that have to make it out, say all 40 are representing Asia. Well, all 40 of them would not be going to the semifinals. Instead, the judges would have to look to see which competitors are after those top 40 and fill in the minimum number of competitors from each region, if that makes sense. It's really confusing, to be honest, to explain, but just know that it makes the competition even harder. There's a lot of different divisions in the competition, but we're going to be focusing on the women's individual division since this one had a lot of surprising athletes not making it out to the next round, like Sydney Wells and Paige Powers. The semifinals will be taking place from May 17th all the way to June 2nd, just so you guys are aware. And for reference, and so everyone can stay updated in the CrossFit Game, here is the actual schedule by regions. May 17th to the 19th will be the Asia semifinal by Far East Throwdown, and the Europe semifinal by French Throwdown. May 24th to the 26th will be the Oceania semifinal by Torian Pro, and the North America West semifinal by West Coast Classic. And lastly, May 31st to June 2nd will hold the Africa semifinal by Renegade Games, South America semifinal by Copa Sur, and the North America East semifinal by Syndicate Crown. Okay, so now moving on to the actual gossip here. Paige Powers and Sydney Wells both did not make it to the semifinals, which I'm really upset about because they're so strong and they're so impressive to watch. After seeing both their records and watching videos of them and just seeing them all over the news and hearing their names literally all the time, I am shocked that they're both not moving on to the semifinals. Last year, both Paige Powers and Sydney Wells were at the 2023 CrossFit semifinals. Powers placed 6th and Wells placed 7th. There were a total of 7 workouts. Powers placed in the top 10 in all but one, where she placed 20th in workout 1. Wells was pretty consistent in where she placed. She placed 9th in 2 workouts and then 12th and 14th in another 2, but she placed 58th and 34th in 2 other workouts, which ended up lowering her score. But what really got her to rank so high was that she placed 1st in one of the workouts. Powers and Wells are both from the US and are representing North America East, by the way, so just so y'all know that. And also, Powers is literally 20 years old, which is so insane to me that she's that young and competing at such a high level with people who are so much older than her with a lot more experience. So the fact that she placed this high last year really shows her natural talent and natural strength. Last year, Powers' overall ranking as a CrossFit competitor was 2nd in the US and 2nd in the world, which is crazy. She had an amazing competition, which really set her up so high, but also she's a very dedicated and determined CrossFit competitor. And she's a frequent competitor, so all of that has helped her in 2023. Right now, though, her ranking did drop a bit, which is okay because it is still so dang impressive. She's ranked 18th in the US and 66th worldwide. Powers also competed in the games 4 times, and twice she competed as a team and won bronze both times. And then Wells is 28 years old, so she is relatively youngish in the competition. Last year, Wells was ranked 63rd in the US and 138th worldwide. Now, compared to Powers, that obviously does not look too impressive, but you had to consider how many CrossFit competitors are out there in the US and in the world. At the end of the day, it's about improvement and seeing if you can get better ranking the next year. So that's really what she did this year. So right now she stands at 47th in the US, but she dropped a bit in her worldwide ranking. It is now 146. It isn't a huge difference, and frankly, there are probably just more people who started competing that have really made it up there that quickly. It happens. It's not that big of a difference and something to be really focused on. The fact here is that Sydney Wells is amazing and she has a strong reputation, and the same goes with Paige Powers, in my opinion. So now let's actually talk about what happened in this year's competition and why we will unfortunately not be seeing them in the semifinals. So just as a little reference, here is a picture of the both of them. We have on the left is Paige Bowers, on the right is Sydney Wells. After the judges reviewed workout 1, they decided to go back and make some adjustments, ending up changing 143 female competitors' scores. As we know, the quarterfinals are online, so people send in videos, and the judges will need to repeatedly review the videos, and often that leads to people naturally making second guesses and thinking that they saw something like a penalty. A video is just really not the most accurate way to judge. Being in person actually gives you that proper angle and the real-time effect that you need to accurately and fairly judge. I wish the games could be adjusted to the quarterfinals to make them in person, but unfortunately with such the vast amount of people that compete in the quarterfinals, it really would just not be possible. Anyway, without the alleged penalty, Sydney Wells and Paige Bowers would be going to the semifinals. Workout 1, characterized by its fight gone bad style format, presented athletes with a grueling test of strength and endurance. With 1-minute intervals of snatches, rowing for calories, and dumbbell box step-ups, followed by a brief moment of break, the workout demanded peak performance under intense pressure. However, it was during these high-intensity intervals that many athletes fell afoul of the competition standards, leading to, of course, penalties. Powers was initially placed at 5th without this penalty or score adjustment, and once her score was adjusted, she moved all the way down to 104th in the North America East region. Sydney Wells saw her ranking drop from 24th to 141st in the North American East region, also because of her workout 1 penalty. These were the two main actions that were classified as penalties and workout 1s that cost a lot of competitors. So you had on the snatch, this is what the judges were really looking for in penalties because they were pretty common. So on the snatch, lowering the bar before full extension on the knees, hips, or arms was a penalty that was really focused on. And on the box steps, descending before reaching full extension of the hips and our legs. The barbell snatch penalty makes sense to me. That's a very common mistake. You're in a rush and you don't have full proper extension of your knees, hips, or arms. When you're under pressure and are competing with time, it's difficult to worry about all the little things. So it does make sense why that's a common penalty to me. But the box step-up penalty frustrates me a bit. This makes complete sense to me that this would be a common penalty. Once again, you're under pressure and a time limit. But here's the thing. You are stepping up and stepping down. All of our bodies do it naturally, and we don't even think about doing it, stepping up and stepping down. It's such a single move, and what I mean by that is you don't need this perfect form to be good at the box steps. It's more about if you can hold the weight, stand up straight enough to balance, and move your legs up, down, and quickly, and obviously endurance and breathing. The reason this one frustrates me is because this penalty can be easily avoided if the competition made the workout a box step over, where the athletes will step onto the box with the weights and then just simply step off on the other side. Going up and down and up and down requires less thought, and doing it back and forth is going to make you I don't want to use the word lazy because it isn't lazy, but I guess the right word would be simplifying. So yeah, you may up simplifying the movement by not fully extending your legs, when on the other hand, it requires more thinking and actual movement to go completely over the box, if that makes sense. A lot of people are obviously frustrated about the score adjustments. A lot of people are saying they're happy the penalties are being considered and examined closely. I am too, but it seems that the athletes that fell victim to these penalties had their scores adjusted way lower than it should have been, really. I mean, the fact that Powers went from 5th to 104th is crazy. A lot of people are saying that there should be a better reviewing process in place to ensure that it's fair for all competitors. One idea that I thought was wise when I saw someone comment was to have a reviewing team that aren't the judges review the top 40 competitors' video. A different pair of eyes is also a good way to test if one's judgment is accurate. And the last point people are bringing up is that if someone gets moved down from 5th to 104th like Powers, then everyone in between 6th and 103rd need to have their videos reviewed again. As soon as you give someone a penalty that drops them, say, 100 places or more, then you have to review everyone in between those 100 places. Otherwise, the integrity is lost. So, all of that, I would like to say thank you guys so much for tuning into the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast. presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again, and thank you so much for joining, and have a wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't